TikTok. They are now deporting Asians. Please, y'all, stay at home. It's just not one group of people now. And it's never just been one group of people, by the way. It's not just dark skinned people like Africans, Jamaicans, Caribbeans, and then they moved on to Latinos and Mexicans. It's now Asians. Okay. You guys did a really great job marching out there. I was cheering you guys on, but I'm gonna tell you like this: I don't think no one should go out there anymore. They up to some real sneaky stuff. Can't talk about it just yet. But look, stay at home, protect your families. That's it. Stay at home, protect. I don't think it matters how much marching and talking we do. He said he was going to do what he's going to do, and he's been doing what he wants to do. No one's stopping him, and no one's going to stop him. You know why? Because they want to change. And this man claims he's making a change. He's doing something that none of the presidents ever had guts to do. And I'm saying it that way because that's how they look at it. Yeah. See, this man, I think, has lost his marbles. But there's no proof of that yet. But he's doing what he wants to do. And there ain't nothing none of us could do about it. Ain't none of us safe, y'all. Stay at home, protect your families. God bless. And keep in mind that they're monitoring stuff. So please just look, stay close to your families, protect your families. All right? Because there's some other little I'll do another update. Bye.
So I'm actually seeing the topic on why Asians don't speak up when it comes to a protest or speaking up for our rights. Because they honestly do not think they're a minority. A lot of Asians live under that whitewashed world. And that comes from me speaking from experience. As a Vietnamese woman with black kids, I've heard every racial slur there is. Why are you with a black man? Your kids are going to be dark. Your kids are going to be like charcoal. Majority of Asian people are Trump supporters. They don't speak up. They don't fight. They don't speak on the situation. They don't even like talking about the situation. And when they do, they sound stupid and ignorant. They don't like doing that because in their mind, they're white. Majority of Asians feel the whiter the skin, the better. And that's all I'm going to say on that. That's why they don't speak up. That's why they don't make a scene when it comes to fighting for our rights. Because they think this is not going to affect them. As if 12 Vietnamese nail techs just didn't get deported because they're illegal immigrants. So let's be clear on why this is happening and who it's happening to, because it's just not Mexicans, okay?
Across the United States, panic is setting in. Asian American communities, many of whom thought they were safe, are now facing the unthinkable. lCE has begun deportations of Asian immigrants, and for many, it is a shocking reality check. Families are crying out, communities are scrambling for answers, and trust in the system is crumbling fast. Watch and pay attention, and I will share my thought later.
You should prepare financially, mentally, physically to live in another country. I go back and forth from the United States to Rwanda. Okay? It doesn't look good for America right now. Like, I'm going to give you a quick example. Airlines. There's a specific airline that is arresting people of color when they ask the status of their flight, especially when their flight has been canceled twice. Yeah. They actually will tell you, if you come to my kiosk again, I'm going to call the state police. The airport's in Logan. It's in actually Boston, but the airport name is Logan Airport. That's what's going on behind the scenes. People are getting arrested for no reason with extreme force. So this is usually not my content, but I just want to inform everyone that in order for you to leave the United States and be successful living in another country, you are going to have creativity. You're going to have adaptability. You're going to have to be flexible. I don't know if you saw my video that I was actually applying for a visa for the country of Rwanda. Thank goodness they gave it to me. But heed this advice. It is not a simple decision to make to leave the United States. I know we have all of our comfort foods, our comfort homes, our comfort air conditioners, heating, it's at our disposal. But in some countries, it's not like that. Now, one thing I can guarantee you by living in another country, especially the continent of Africa, is your freedom. That's what I'm going to guarantee you, is your freedom. Your freedom to drive a car without having to worry about getting pulled over or racial profiling. Eating fresh fruits and vegetables that are not tainted with pesticides and other chemicals that cause us to have cancer. You will have a sense of community that you never could imagine in a million years. And a sense of pride. That's what I can tell you if you decide to leave the United States. So check out Ricky Smiley's recent post that he did on the situation that's going on in the United States.
I know I've been posting a lot about the deporting situation, and my mom, yesterday, she told me, hey son, you should probably not speak too much on this topic because it might cause a problem for us. That's the exact reason why this is a problem. Whenever there's a problem, Asian people go, oh my God, and nothing changes. That's probably the biggest thing that pisses me off about Asian people. You realize the current situation is literally a crime against humanity. Look, I think 70 to 80, 90% of us can agree that if they take illegal immigrants that commit crimes or whatever, look, that's whatever, okay? But they're stripping people of citizenships, and they're also taking people that are citizens. So what the hell does that mean for me? I was born here as a citizen. I can't imagine my mom or my sister, or think about it, like you're a close family member, imagine they just get taken for whatever good reason. And at this rate, they're not even finding a good reason. You know what they're doing? Oh, he's brown, let me take him. Oh, he's yellow, let me take him. That's literally what's going on. So that's why we're in this crisis of literal, ethnic cleansing, if you want to think about it that way. And I'm not exempt because I'm Korean. And then all the Asian influencers watching right now, stop posting about here's my favorite boba, or here's my get ready with me. No one cares. And at least talk about the topic first to show that you're a human. And then you can start posting about your freaking stupid get ready with me. Oh, here's my favorite boba. Nobody cares about that right now. So at least address the issue, and then you can stroll on with your life. You'll probably gain a lot more followers that way.
Why are so many Asian Americans so silent right now? That's because they didn't vote. Yes, they didn't vote because they didn't like Kamala from their internal misogyny or internal racism and felt indifferent enough about the orange man so that they thought that a no vote was going to the orange man. So the reason why they're not upset right now is because they voted for this. That's why. And that's not me excusing their behavior. I am a disabled person. I was advocating for Kamala before the election, so I had the chance to talk to a lot of my friends. They're not my friends anymore, but people in my life about how this election was going to affect me and people like me. And if they care about me, why they should vote for Kamala. And they still didn't care. They couldn't care less because at the end of the day, it was all about taxes. Yeah, their tax break. The problem is Asians that have a level of wealth feel this closeness to white people because white people were the only ones that had that level of wealth for so long that they feel like they're getting a chance to be part of the white club, but they're not. And if I could give an insight into maybe why Asians are like this, it's because a lot of our parents and like even my generation as a millennial, we have seen our mother countries very impoverished. Like for me, I'm Korean, so I know South Korea's history. Like South Korea was fully bankrupt in the 80s and saw their first economic boom in the 2000s. It hasn't been that long, and they're in like the top 20 GDP in the world now. That level of wealth growth, normal citizens see that and think, oh my God, if I'm just smart enough and if I invest correctly, I can also get there. And if you look at South Korea, it's an oligarchy. That country is ran by like 3 families, and the main one is the Samsung family. And they have so many scandals. They have done some bad stuff, and the country just lets them get away with it. And if you look at the election turnout, it shows that South Koreans are starting to wake up to the state of like, oh, we're an oligarchy. But Korean Americans, look at the past of Korea, see that you can still succeed, feel like there's a privilege of being in America, utilize the model minority method, and then try to enter the 1%. They think that they could break into the 1%. Wake up. You're not. You're not white enough. You will never be white enough. They will never.
In a new Supreme Court ruling, Donald Trump is able to deport Southeast Asian refugees to South Sudan. Back in May, 8 individuals were deported to South Sudan, and it included individuals from Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. This is extremely alarming because South Sudan is currently experiencing the aftermath of a civil war that happened not too long ago. This is really problematic as those that are being deported to South Sudan experience war and violence back in Myanmar, Laos, and Vietnam. Many of the Southeast Asian immigrants that are here in the United States today is because of the war, violence, and displacement they experienced back in Southeast Asia. And in general, we should not be deporting immigrants to a third country that they have no significant ties to. Overall, this Supreme Court ruling does not just impact the Southeast Asian diaspora or community, but it impacts all of us and definitely redefines and reshapes the immigration system and how it shapes deportations to occur in the future. The Trump administration has been celebrating this ruling, especially because they've been negotiating with countries to accept deportees back. For now, the ways that you can take action is I'm going to put 2 petitions down in the comments below that address the Southeast Asian diaspora. One petition urges the governments in Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam to better support deportees that are being deported from the US. And I'm going to be putting another petition that supports the Southeast Asian Relief and Responsibility Policy Platform that pushes for long-term US accountability. Beyond that, again, I want to acknowledge that this ruling does not just impact the Southeast Asian community, but other immigrant communities of color. And so I will be monitoring this situation and the rulings and how you could best take action. So definitely follow for more ways that you can get involved.
I'll say this, right? I'm a nobody, but it's like I've been seeing so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. Asian people, we support the country. We support, the betterment of the country. We support that. So what is there to say? What is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals. It is honestly tiring because here's the thing. We want the country to be better. We want the country to be better. We want the country to, if you did it legally, if you stand in line, if you paid the price, right? You paid the money and all that, you did all the process, the paperwork, all the stuff, which usually most Asian people do. Why would we care about someone jumping in line, crossing the border and all this stuff? Why should we, be happy about that? We're not really, this is the thing where we're not really dependent. Asian people aren't really dependent on, migrant labor, right? Not like other people. We're not really dependent on migrant labor. So we're not going to cry that the U.S. is pretty much backing what they promised. The U.S. promised, or this presidency promised, that they would deport illegal immigrants. They're doing that. Why are you crying? Why are you crying about it? This is the thing where, you see it like these immigrants are waving the flags of other countries, burning down the flag of the U.S., and then you think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. That's the thing. Asian people want to, focus on themselves and their community and their country. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. So really, stop asking Asian influencers to speak up about it, because you won't like what they say. You won't like what they say. So really, it's better off that they do the content that they're doing instead of, say things you don't like. Because here's the thing. Asian people don't want to focus on the negativity and, say what they're really thinking. Deport, right? Deport illegal immigrants. They are fine with it.
What's your name, sir? Say your name. Are you from here? Oh my God, they're just taking this candy. Dude, you guys. This is so scary, you guys. Poor man, dude. Like, so many people.
Undercover ICE agents are abducting and kidnapping people off the street, masked up, without identification or warrant. And he's yelling help, and his name, Jingshan, in Mandarin. And it's just heartbreaking to watch. I also went through the comment section, so there's a woman who claims to be either his girlfriend or his wife. She said she's 2 months pregnant. So the man that they just kidnapped is actually a father-to-be. And he's actually on his way to report to the immigration office. So he's doing it the legal way. He's not a criminal. He's not an illegal immigrant. The wife also said they have lost contact with her husband for over a day now. They're trying to find a lawyer, but nothing has helped so far. He's still detained. And when I actually think about it, are those actually ICE agents? Or are they just imposters or bounty hunters who try to turn people into ICE to earn money? I just knew this day is gonna come.
Should I cancel my trip to the USA? Hi, I'm an Asian Aussie. I've never traveled to mainland America and I've been really excited about it. However, the last week has really shaken me up. All the reports with ICE and their new powers, the deportations, the racism, the white supremacy that's going on and unchecked. It's scaring me to the point where I might cancel my trip. And for those Aussies or people who are unaware, it costs quite a bit to buy tickets to travel to the US. Should I be putting together a safe plan, a safe contingency plan, or should I give up on the idea that it is safe to travel there right now in 2025? Thanks.
I'm going to take one for the team and just say this. If you're an Asian American who's here legally, whose parents worked their butts off to get out of a country and give yourself the American dream legally.
When he says take one for the team, what team is he talking about?
Got you a green card, got you a citizenship, got you into that school.
So we're talking like Columbia student hunted by ICE, Chung Yun-seo, right? Because she was a legal permanent resident and she was hunted by ICE to be deported.
You are here engagement farming for pity points and emotional impact and virtue signaling for anti-ICE or anti-illegal immigrant deportation measures and calling yourself some justice warrior. Shame on you.
So the team he's speaking for is Team Trump, not Team Asian Americans. Because I'm all those things. My parents did it legally. But then they ran out of money and also didn't understand the paperwork with their limited English. So I ended up getting citizenship on my own as an adult. But I know that was my privilege to do so. And having learned English, being able to work higher jobs where I could afford extra money to do the paperwork as an adult for myself. Trump said he was out to get migrant criminals, killers, gang members, people that are taking the jobs. But ICE is raiding non-criminals, family men and women who just put their head down and work, the kind of work that nobody else wants to do. It's like below minimum wage, kind of work that has them working around the clock, that doesn't allow them any extra hours to go to English classes because they're providing for their families. But not only that, it's the kind of work that Los Angeles is built on, that everyone living in Los Angeles benefits from. When you see literal toddlers being dragged away from their parents as they're crying out for their mother and father, and you call people that are talking about these issues trying to earn pity points as they criticize a criminal president who shouldn't even be fucking president.
I hope you keep those opinions to yourself because it's embarrassing. That's all it is.
I mean, I wish you had taken your own advice, because to be talking like that as this is happening, that is a depraved form of humanity. What Korean church we going to? Not to mention the legal citizens that are getting swept up, catching strays for Trump's mass deportation agenda. Did they send you a plaque that said our model minority? Is it hanging in your wall? You know what? I'm glad you said it. Better to know who you're following, people. I hope that plaque hits you on the head when they tell you you're not enough to be on their team.
And so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. What is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals.
Sir, you look like the immigration issue you're ranting about. So the projection is wild because you look very illegal.
Asian people aren't really dependent on, migrant labor.
The loss of immigrants has the potential for a full economic collapse because of significant GDP reduction, labor shortages, increased prices, reduced consumer spending and demand, and billions lost in tax revenue. An economic collapse affects everyone. Immigrants make this country thrive.
This presidency promised that they would deport illegal immigrants. They're doing that. Why are you crying? You see it like these immigrants are waving the flags of other countries, burning down the flag of the U.S., and then you think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. Asian people don't want to focus on the negativity and, say what they're really thinking. Deport, right? Deport illegal immigrants.
He is the embodiment of the model minority, which was created to pit Asians against other marginalized groups, rewarding obedience, silence, and hard work with crumbs of white approval. And he ate that up, tap dancing for people who don't even want you here. No matter how hard you try to prove you hate yourself more than they ever could, and try so hard to distance yourself from the very people who fought for the rights that you now leech off of. You can grovel all you want for white validation, but you'll never earn validation from the same people who call you Kung Flu and China virus. Remember that? Kung Flu and China virus? You are not native. So how do you think it is that you were able to come to the United States? You think it was the whites who just kindly handed you an invite into our country out of the kindness of their heart? No, you got here because black and brown people, far braver than you, bled in the streets. The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 made it possible for you to live your American dream as the oppressor's lapdog. You're welcome. The people brave enough to fight out in the streets are the same people keeping you here. That fight going on right now is again a fight that you will benefit from just so that you can parade around like you earned those rights when you have never fought for anything in your weak little existence. Not your people, not your dignity, not even yourself. But be careful, because if they deport all of the people who fight for our rights, you might find yourself in an internment camp, because who's going to fight for you? You don't even fight for yourself.
Now, I'm seeing this question pop up a lot. Why is the Asian community so quiet on the ICE raid topic? Now, I'm not speaking for all Asian people, but this is just my point of view. My family's from Laos. My parents spent years in refugee camps before being able to come here legally. So a lot of us from a very young age was taught accountability. We were getting lectures after lectures after lectures on doing the right thing. Getting our ass beat for doing wrong things. So there are a lot of Asian people that are for deportations of, illegals.
And not everybody, okay? Not all Asian people are for it, but I see most of us are. And we understand why you want to come here illegally and skip the process. People just want to live good lives, do better for themselves. But there is a right way of doing things. So if you do come here illegally and get caught, you need to take accountability for your actions. That's why a lot of times if you see an Asian person get deported, we don't make a big fuss about it because, they got to take accountability for their actions. And they know that. We don't have hate towards law enforcement because, they're just doing their part. They're just doing their jobs because they didn't do their part. And we do feel terrible about, or at least I do feel terrible about, families being ripped apart. But, they know the risk involved and they were willing to take that risk. Again, you got to take accountability. And a lot of people refer Asians as, model immigrants because, we are here to better ourselves, get an education, respect law and order. We just don't want any trouble. Like, we want peaceful lives. And so if we do get in trouble for something that we did, then we own up to it. That's it. So my heart does go out to the families of the deported. Hopefully they can find their way back, hopefully legal, so that they may, live peaceful lives. I wish y'all the best.
Ajma here. Reading the news that there are potentially up to 150,000 Koreans in the U.S. That are vulnerable and potentially a target for deportation. And that includes adoptees. I would very much like off this timeline, but we're going to do what we can to be prepared and to be kind and to not panic. And no matter what, we shall be kind and we shall try to do our best to do everything that is right with the universe. The Ark of Justice is very, very long.
Where the fuck are all the Asians? The thousands of Asians in LA either wanting to be an influencer in TikTok or are influencers on TikTok that have hundreds or tens of thousands or millions of followers. Like, you can't put down your fucking matcha for like literally 2 seconds and speak out about what's happening right now. I go on fucking TikTok, it's the same 4 like wonderful activist Asians on here. But then everybody else just still, regularly scheduled program, my outfit of the day, going to another fucking Korean barbecue restaurant. Like, the restaurant you're at is built on immigrants. This entire city is built on immigrants. Like, you went to fucking UC Irvine, you got your fucking marketing degree. I'm sure you took 1 humanities class, honey. Like, I promise you, if you just don't post 1 TikTok dance and you take 30 seconds to speak on children getting ripped away from an elementary school graduation, people being locked in the basements of federal buildings without food or water, the National Guard being deployed on your city. Like, I know that, like, shame doesn't work on you. Like, nothing works on you because you've had to create this shell. But, like, your $600 post that you're making for tummy tea is not going to save you here. You're scared of, like, your brand getting tainted, or, like, you won't be able to get brand deals. Like, with the rate that information suppression is going, like, you won't have TikTok to fucking sell your fucking boba flavored protein powder on here. Like, you won't have the time. You won't have the platform to do so. Like, your parents or your grandparents came here for a better life, and then now that you have a better life, you've already fucking forgotten the context as to which you fucking exist in this realm. Like, you don't have to be a civil rights expert or an econ expert or a fucking, like, lawyer to understand that what is happening needs to be stood up against. Like, you are the people that are populating the Capitol right now. Like, you will be next. Like, with black folk, they weaponize the police. With brown folk, they weaponize immigration. With Asian folk, they weaponize legislation. So the clock is ticking, sweetie. The clock is tick-tock in a way. I don't give a fuck if you feel awkward about speaking something. Or I don't give a fuck if you're like, I'm sorry, I've never spoken about this before, or whatever. It's not too late. It's not too late. I promise to you, it's not too late to listen to that tiny voice in the back of your head. I've been on this fucking app for 2.5, almost 3 months. That's all. But it's not that fucking hard. You open the app and you do the thing. You don't have to fucking edit it. You can just say it fucking non sequitur and just speak.
In recent weeks, Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) has launched a surge of deportation operations that include not just undocumented immigrants from Latin America, but now Asian nationalities from countries like China, Vietnam, India, and the Philippines. This is a shift that many did not see coming. Some of those detained had pending asylum cases. Others were undocumented but had been living peacefully in the United States for years, working, raising families, paying taxes. Many Asian Americans believe they were less likely targets of immigration enforcement. Some assume ICE focused primarily on Latino communities. But immigration is a system, not a sentiment. And now that the scope has widened, many Asian immigrants, especially Southeast Asians from war-torn regions, are being caught in the net. For communities like Cambodian Americans, Laotians, and Among, many whom came as refugees, this feels like betrayal. A Chinese student detained after overstaying his visa, a Vietnamese man picked up on a 20-year-old's misdemeanor, a Filipino nurse who filled the wrong paperwork. These are not criminals, they are people who believed in the American dream. Legal clinics are overwhelmed, families are terrified, children are asking, will my mom be taken away next? Under renewed hardening immigration policy, ICE has been given more aggressive authority to pursue all documented immigrants, regardless of nationality or backstory. This crackdown is also politically timed. It follows recent rhetoric about restoring law and order and tightening borders, even though many of the people being deported have been here for decades. Asian Americans are now realizing no one is immune. Across California, Texas, New York, and Georgia, Asian communities are mobilizing, holding legal clinics, fundraising for bail, and demanding accountability. Others are asking deeper questions. Why were we silent when this happened to others? Are we next in a broken system? This moment is a turning point. For too long, immigration has been seen as someone else's problem, but now it is eating Asian American hard. The pain is real, the panic is real, but so is the power of community, solidarity, and truth. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comment box below. Until next time, cheers and have a good one.